in today's show. It's it. It's done. It's the end of the regular season. The final show of the NBA fantasy season. There's going to be more next week. Don't worry. We're going to do shows. This is the last show for the NBA regular season. I'm getting a little bit misty in here. Michael Bolton. Oh, Michael, are you still here?
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy Basketball, your daily fantasy basketball podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd and I am the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com. And you can find me on Twitter, as always, at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at Locked On Fantasy Basketball. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code Locked On. That's PrizePicks.com, and the promo code is Locked On. Thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. So, as I said, this is a hard time of the year for me because I know that things are winding down. And I know that my YouTube subscribers are going to drop under 60,000 here. People are going to stop listening. People have already stopped listening. We are going to do a huge amount of stuff in the off-season. There will be shows every day. There'll be so much fun stuff going on. There'll be recaps. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Team previews. Also team reviews. Where do they go from here? Dynasty stuff. NBA draft profiles. We'll probably cover 60 individual players coming through the NBA draft with many mock drafts and just a lot of different stuff that we do looking at playoff performances in fantasy basketball and trying to show you why you shouldn't play your season towards this end of the year. A whole bunch of stuff we're going to do. There's going to be heaps of it. But this is the end of the regular season. This is my 590th episode since the NBA draft, not including the live pregame show, so that'd probably push it to 700. It's been a lot. I hope you guys have enjoyed everything that I've done. I hope you do stick around through the off-season. Plenty of gems get dropped through the off-season, plenty of interesting things. It's why I think I am able to be good at what I do and enjoy fantasy basketball, so I'm keeping an eye on little things at all points rather than like checking back in at the 10th of September and go, oh, so what's been happening the last 6 months? Let's go back and look over it because you lose context. You lose what's actually been happening through the league. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. Warning.
Let's get it on, Gilly.
All right, every NBA team plays tomorrow. Every game is early. If you are here in Australia, the first game starts at 3 a.m. The second game starts at 5:30 a.m. For you guys in the States, that's 1 p.m. Eastern and 3:30 p.m. Eastern, the game starts. So they're early. Everyone plays. They go through everything, like, again, 2 start times, and there's just so many guys that are out. There's so many guys. What I'm going to talk about, I've gone through every single team. I've tried to predict what their final game rotation will be like, who is likely to sit, who's already been ruled out, and everyone that I'm going to show here are guys that are available who I think are going to get boosts, but it is a gigantic shit show. It is a gigantic throw a dart at a wall type scenario in trying to find the right players who can produce. Now, yesterday, we were very big on Luka Šamanić, and it worked out pretty bloody well. I was also interested in adding Drew Eubanks, and of course he didn't play. So I don't know what's going to happen in terms of who's going to be in, who's going to be out. We don't have injury reports for the Spurs. We don't have injury reports for the for the Jazz. We don't have injury reports for the Nuggets, the Blazers, or the Clippers, and we don't have the Wolves one yet either. Hopefully that's able to come through soon, but that's what we don't have. I would also expect, say, this will be interesting. There's a lot of interesting players listed questionable that we don't know. I might as well just go through those now. Isaiah Jackson, Indiana. Isaiah Jackson, TJ McConnell, Aaron Nesmith, Jalen Smith, Miles Turner are all questionable. O'Shea Brissett's questionable. Turner won't play. McConnell won't play. I don't think Jackson will play, but I think Smith will. Brissett, I don't think will play. Dennis Smith is questionable for the Hornets. I think he's not going to play. Jarrett Allen's questionable for the Cavs. I don't think he's going to play. Claxton, Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, Edmund Sumner are all questionable for the Nets. No reason to list them questionable. With rest, if they're going to play, they won't play, is my guess. George Niang is questionable for the Sixers. I don't think he plays. Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and Rob Williams are questionable for the Celtics. If they play, it'll be limited minutes. I don't think they play. Levine is questionable for the Bulls. I don't think he plays. Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry are all questionable for the Heat. I think they're not going to play. Bam is probable. I think he plays a little bit, but I also think it is the final game for Udonis Haslem. I think he'll get some minutes in this one. Banchero, Carter, Fultz, Gary Harris, and Wagner are all questionable for the Magic. I think if they play, it's limited minutes. I don't think they play. What else have we got? We don't have the Spurs update yet, as I said. The Grizzlies are listing everyone doubtful, so they're not going to play. The Nuggets played their starters today, limited minutes. That means they almost definitely won't play tomorrow. But Bruce Brown didn't play today, so I think he will play. I'm just going through guys who are questionable or don't have confirmed statuses yet. Drew Eubanks didn't play today. I think he'll play tomorrow. Cam Reddish, I don't think will play. Sharp, I do think will play, but who knows? And then we go to the Wolves, which we don't know the status of their guys at this point. I was going to do it at the end of the show, but I might just do it now in terms of the teams that are actually still actively trying. And we'll go back to the streaming stuff. Oh, yeah, put the wrong screen up there. So who's trying tomorrow? The Clippers, the Warriors, and the Lakers are all still trying tomorrow. But when talking about them, it is important to note that the Warriors are playing the Blazers, who do not care. So the Warriors are still trying. They still want to win, but they're playing the Blazers. So those starters will probably play 29 minutes, I'm guessing. The Clippers, they still want to win. They play the Suns, who are sitting everybody. So the Clippers guys, while it is a back-to-back, and they are playing, like Kawhi is playing the back-to-back, I don't think he's going to have to play 35 minutes. The Lakers play the Jazz. They still want to win. The Jazz, they're not trying. Everyone's out. So those three teams are still trying. They are still winning. Their guys are going to play, but I imagine those games will be over relatively early, and then they can sit their guys down mid-game. Give them like a half rest, because they are all still battling, because there are 2 playoff spots versus play-in spots available. The 5 and the 6 seed are still not decided. So the Clippers, Warriors, and Lakers are all battling, realistically, for those, or they're the only teams that can make those slots. Actually, no, the Pelicans can if things go their way, and that's it. The Wolves can't. So you would imagine that the Clippers and the Warriors both just win, and the Clippers go 5, and the Warriors get 6. But those 3 are all battling for a spot to keep out of the play-in. And then the one that is very interesting is the Pelicans and the Wolves. They are both still got stuff to play for, and they play each other. So they are going to be, I'm guessing, trying to get the victory. You would rather be in 8 and have the double chance in the play-in than be in 9. The winner will get into 8. The loser will go into 9. There is a chance of the Pelicans being able to push all the way up to 5 if those other 3 teams lose, which they won't, but the Pelicans can still push up. The Wolves can get as high as 7 if those other guys lose and they win. But the most likely scenario here, if the Pelicans win and those other 3 teams win, the Pelicans will be in 8, which keeps them in the double chance side of the play-in. And so that game is going to be the most competitive. You're going to see huge minutes out of Pelicans and Wolves guys, I'm guessing, because that is the game where it is against a real opponent who is trying. Every other game, forget it. It's all over the shop. It's all over. Every other game is a potential disaster zone in terms of who we stream in and who we don't stream in. It's not going to be pretty. And even those Clippers, Warriors, Lakers, they're playing bad opponents. So be aware. Today's episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. And I'm sorry to say this, PrizePicks. I wouldn't recommend doing PrizePicks on a day like Sunday tomorrow. But for the playoffs, yeah, we're really excited. PrizePicks is daily fantasy. But it's not daily fantasy with salary caps. It's just projections. It's just player props. It's over-unders. That's all it is. They'll set a points. They'll set an assists. You look in there and you go, oh, well, we look at the Wolves. Let's look at Karl Anthony Towns. Is he set at 20.5? Well, let's go more than that for points. You can do it for all the different stats, threes and rebounds and blocks. You get between 2 to 6 of those, put them into an entry, and if you do that, you can win up to 25 times your entry fee back. It's so easy. You can do it in under 60 seconds. You can do it in over 30 US states. You can do it in the majority of Canadian provinces and territories as well. But it's not just the NBA. NHL playoffs are starting there too. Major League Baseball is cranking. You got cricket. I'm sure there's some cricket going on in the world at some point. You got NASCAR. You got PGA. The Masters just finished. We're going to have other tournaments coming up. Well, it hasn't finished, sorry. It's still going. Other tournaments coming up. MMA, boxing, disc golf, of course, as well. So download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code LOCKEDON. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. So don't forget to enter that promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100 dues. Now, let's go back to that slide that you've already seen if you're here on YouTube. Yahoo Points League streamers. Let's spend a little bit of time to talk about what we've got here. Yes, this man just signed a new contract. He did. His name is Kenny Lofton Jr. And the Grizzlies are, of course, sitting everybody. Why wouldn't they? They're locked in. They're listing everyone as doubtful. So, Aldama, Bain, Brooks, Jaren, Tyus Jones, Ja Morant are doubtful. Jake LaRavia is out. Brandon Clark is out. Steven Adams is out for the season. Playoffs as well. The only guy that's probably going to be Isaiah Williams, who hasn't played for forever, but he's listed probable. So they are running a rotation of Lofton, Roddy, Conchar, Vince Williams, Luke Kennard, Xavier T. Illman, and Zaire Williams. And I would think that someone even like Kennard could be limited in his minutes as well. So Kenny Lofton is going to get buckets, and he is going to play big minutes. There's almost no way he doesn't play gigantic minutes. And that'll be very interesting to see. But he is going to have this huge chance because he's not going to be a part of their regular season rotation or their playoff rotation, most likely. So they don't have to worry about blowing him out or burning him out. He is going to be an interesting guy. The Utah Jazz. Chris Dunn is an option for us. Rudy Gay, Horton Tucker, Sexton, Markkanen, Clarkson, they're all out. Walker Kessler's out. And Kelly Olynyk rested today's game. I don't think they'll play him in this one. I don't think there's any need for them to play him. So they've still got some players available. Abaji, Dunn, Shamanic, Azubuike, Fontecchio, Toscano Anderson, Juzhang, Damian Jones, Michael Potter, and even Vernon Carey is on that roster. Did you know Vernon Carey played for the Jazz? Yeah, he's there. So there are some interesting options there. But Dunn is played 35 and 37 minutes the last two games. I'm looking at that Vernon Carey thing. Is that real Vernon Carey plays for the Jazz? Like, I've got him on that list, but it just doesn't feel right. When did Vernon Carey sign with the Jazz? Anyway, I'm sure he did. I'm positive he did. I'm going to go look into that because something's a bit off on that. No, I should have trusted myself. Yes, he was. He was signed today for the Jazz for this season and next season. I'm sure there'll be guarantees. Anyway, he's not on my list, Vernon Carey. Chris Dunn is the guy we're looking at here as a guy that's probably going to play a ton of minutes, I'm guessing. Let's go to the Brooklyn Nets because they're going to sit everyone because they're locked in at their seed at the 6. No Finney Smith, no O'Neal, no Ben Simmons, no Seth Curry, no Cam Johnson. They've listed Claxton, Joe Harris, and Spencer Dinwiddie as questionable for rest. There's no reason to list them questionable if they're going to play. Like, they're out, see you later, they're not playing. The other one to watch is Edmund Sumner, who's questionable with a hip injury. He could play some big minutes if he's actually healthy. But with Claxton likely out, Day'Ron Sharp's probably going to have to start, and Moses Brown's going to be his backup. In Charlotte, thankfully, Charlotte is relatively secure. I don't think Dennis Smith's going to play. Oubre, Washington, Hayward, Rozier are all out. Shout out to Cody Martin for giving us no updates for 4 months. So that means that both Mark Williams, and it is, they had that weird center rotation where he's just 2 games in, 1 game out. This is his second game in, so we don't have too much concern with him starting Mark Williams. This is going to be a long streaming show, by the way, because there's lots to talk about. If my sound would work.
Oh, hi, Mark.
So Mark Williams is an option there. I don't know, because Washington's out, do they sit Richards or do they play Richards back up and then play Jones at the 4? So he's an interesting one, but Mark Williams is almost definitely going to start. I've also got the Salt Fleek, Theo Maledon, on this list too, because I don't think Dennis Smith's going to play. And Maledon has gone 39, 33, 41, 39, 38 minutes. That's pretty good, right? He is an elite stream, I think. Let's go to Milwaukee. There is a man by the name of Lindell Wigington. The Bucks are sitting Middleton, Lopez, AJ Green, Pat Connaughton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday, and Grayson Allen. They're not sitting AJ Green. He's injured. He hurt himself last game. But Wigington played 41 minutes last game. They're going to have a rotation consisting of Wigington, Beauchamp, Thanasis. And then there's guys that I don't know that are going to play. Like Bobby Portis was available last game, so was Joe Ingles, and they didn't play. I've got those guys and Wes Matthews currently rostered in for 10 minutes. But even if they do play and they're not on the injury report, Portis, Matthews, and Ingles, I wouldn't be relying upon them for big stuff. So you're looking at even Javon Carter, I think because he's a key part of their rotation, no guarantee that he plays either. So you've got Wigington, Beauchamp, Thanasis, Myers Leonard, Goran Dragic, and then maybe a little bit of Jay Crowder and a couple of minutes chucked in for like Javon Carter and guys like that. So Wigington, going to have a big opportunity. For the Wizards, they are sitting everybody, of course, Beal, Kuzma, Porzingis, Monte Morris, Denny Avdia, Daniel Gafford, Delon Wright. All these guys are out. I don't think... Interestingly, they've listed Jay Huff, the Huff man, as in the G League. Out because he's in the G League. Bro, the G League's finished. What is transferring him to the G League for? That makes no sense at all, especially while you've ruled Daniel Gafford out. So I don't think Taj Gibson's going to play. He's missed the last 4 games. There's no point beating up a 39-year-old man. I think Huff is going to play. That G League designation just seems fake. I think they've screwed up on the designations there on the official injury report because you can't send him to the G League to play because you're transferred because they don't play. And he hasn't made his 50 games. So anyway, Jordan Goodwin is where I was going to with the Wizards. He's a very good stream and he's available in a lot of spots. Morris, Wright are out. Jordan Goodwin's a good option here. And then Killian Hayes. The Pistons are still pumping big minutes into their guys. Yes, they've sat everyone. There's no Cade. Obviously, no Isaiah Stewart, no Alec Burks, no Bojan Bogdanovic, no Livers, no Magruder. Omarui is doubtful, no Diallo. But Hayes has played 34, 42, 35, and 40 minutes. So it's big minutes coming here for Killian. He's played well, and he's a really good option. So there's 8 names there for Yahoo points list. Kenny Lofton, Chris Dunn, Day'Ron Sharpe, Mark Williams, Lindell Wigginton, Jordan Goodwin, Theo Maledon, and Killian Hayes. But of course, weird stuff could happen. Maybe the Nets play everyone. It would be stupid, but maybe they do. So Day'Ron's value drops down. Maybe Mark Williams sits and Nick Richards starts. I don't know. Maybe Wigginton doesn't play 40 minutes and they decide to play Bobby Portis 35 and Wes Matthews 30 and Joe Ingles. I don't know. It would seem unlikely, yeah? Maybe Dennis Smith does play and Maledon drops off. Maybe Killian Hayes gets a strange rest. I don't know that one either. As I said, lots for us to talk about here. We'll get into the ESPN Points League streams in just a second, but today's episode is also brought to you by Ultimate Basketball GM. You guys are nerds. That's fine. We're all nerds for roster building, for fantasy, and that's what Ultimate Basketball GM does. It enables you to take the role of an NBA GM, build a franchise, and win a title. I know Nick Angstad, host of Locked On Mavs, took the Dallas team in Ultimate Basketball GM and won a title. Yes, a little bit different to how things are going for Dallas at the moment. But like the Dallas Mavericks, Nick would have had to deal with challenging personalities to hire the right coaches and assistants, which the Mavericks still haven't gotten right. Trading and training players, making draft picks, navigating your franchise through free agency and the draft and all the ups and downs of multiple seasons. Ultimate Pro Basketball GM enables you to live out your GM fantasy. Locked On Fantasy Basketball listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On in the game store. So make sure to check it out. Download the game, go probasketballgm.com. You can scan the code on your screen or look it up on the App Store. That's probasketballgm.com/ Pro Basketball Ultimate GM. What am I talking about? ProBasketballGM.com is the website. The game is Ultimate Basketball GM. Start your dynasty today. And I'm also going to get some speech lessons as we go along here. ESPN Points Leagues. A lot of the same names. All these guys are available in over 30% leagues. Mark Williams is rostered in 4% of ESPN leagues. So I don't know what are their fingers just permanently in their asses? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I heard that John Butler, the Zebra, is still available on ESPN to pick up, which is actually insane. Yes, I know Skylar Mays just made it into the Yahoo database. John Butler was signed to the Pelicans in the offseason. He was I think he had even a two-way with the Pelicans early this season. He was on their roster. He's been on the Blazers roster for about 4 months. This is not a 10-day pickup like Skylar Mays. John Butler has been there for 4 months. ESPN, I will take $2 million and I'll fix your fantasy basketball. Give me $2 million every year for 10 years. Give me more. Give me 20. Pay me what you're paying Stephen A. Smith. Let me fix it. Ridiculous. Anyway, so you can't add him on ESPN. But you can add these guys. Chris Dunn, Mark Williams, Day'Ron Sharpe, Ken Lofton, and Onyeka Okongwu under 30% rostered in ESPN. What? Capella is out for the Hawks. I think Okongwu has some value here. They've got no Collins, no Capella, no Murray, no Bogdanovic, no Young. DeAndre Hunter is coming back because he's missed with some knee. He played 25 minutes last game. I think he'll play low minutes. Now, Okongwu should start. I don't think they're just going to fire him up into big minutes, though. He's bloody useful. So I would look for old mate Bruno Fernando to get quite a few minutes here. And guys like Vic Krejci and Don Williams. Yeah, Donovan Williams, real player. Shout out to him, though. I saw his mum posted on Twitter that he made it into an NBA game. That's awesome, mate. We love that for you. Trent Forrest, Tyrese Martin, like AJ Griffin. Jalen Johnson, I think, is going to go crazy in this game, but he's actually turned into a viable part of their rotation too. So they're in an interesting spot, the Atlanta Hawks. Jordan Goodwin, we spoke about already. Theo Maledon, we spoke about already. But let's go to those aforementioned Dallas Mavericks, because there's no Hardaway, no Josh Green, no Doncic, no Bullock, no Irving, no Kleber. So it's absolutely has to be Jaden Hardy time. Has to be. If he's available, he's a great Yahoo points guy as well. He's all over the place. He's a great option. Last game, they started Hardy and Ntilikina, and Hardy played 16 minutes because they were trying to lose. They don't have to lose this one against the Spurs. They can go out and let Jaden Hardy absolutely cook. Christian Wood's also off the injury report, so he might cook in a big way. But they are sitting Hardaway, Green, Doncic, Bullock, Irving, and Kleber. So, 20 minutes in, a lot of talking. Let's go to category leagues. I knew it was a big show. Didn't know it was that long. Let's do category leagues. There's a lot of the same names here that we're going to talk about across all these categories. But if we're looking for points, obviously there's no rest of season stuff. We're looking for shit to happen tomorrow. If we're looking for points, Jaden Hardy has to be right at the top there. Kenny Lofton, Lindell Wigington. Yes, these are real names that are going to play tomorrow. Chris Dunn, Cam Thomas, fantasy basketball savior. Cam Thomas is probably in line for a big game. With the likelihood that, well, the definite likelihood, or the definite that Finney Smith, O'Neal, Seth, and Cam Johnson are out, and the likelihood that Curry, Claxton, Harris, and Dinwiddie are out, and the almost guarantee that Mikal Bridges plays the first quarter, then sits after that. Bridges will play because he and the whole of the NBA fraternity need to jerk off the fact that he played 82 games. That needs to happen. We need to talk about how much of an Iron Man he is. There is no chance he's playing 38 minutes in this game. It's not happening. There's no need for it. He'll go out there, he'll fuck around for the first quarter, sorry language, he'll shoot 20 times, he'll play 12 minutes and he'll sit down. And if it doesn't happen, I will be stunned beyond belief. But that is what will happen, I think. So, Cam Thomas, he might take 50 shots. Big opportunity for him. David Roddy Piper, much like Kenny Lofton, he's going to be getting big minutes. Norman Powell, the Clippers still need to win. Powell will get his 27 minutes and he will score quite a bit. Even though they're against nobody, they still have to get the win. They can't muck around like the Wolves did losing to the Blazers a couple of weeks ago. Also, they're against the Suns here, the Clippers. But you can't muck around too much. They need to get it done, so Powell's role should be secure. And Kendrick Nunn in Washington is going to get lots of shot opportunities. He's never going to pass them up. He's going to get lots of opportunities to score. For threes, Luke Kennard. I'm a little worried about Kennard in this because I think he's good enough to be a huge part of their playoff rotation, so they might play him like 10 minutes. I'm worried, but if he plays 30, he'll smash it. Jaden Hardy, huge. Kispert, massive opportunities. Fima Hyluk, well, he's been rolling for weeks now, but he's still available. O'Shea Abaji had a great game today, and he is very up and down, and we rely upon him for points and threes, but everyone's going to be out again, I'm guessing, so a good opportunity here for Abaji. Kendrick Nunn, old mate Marjon Beauchamp in Milwaukee. Yes, these are not great fantasy players, but when everyone's out, somebody is taking shots. Just because the players are out doesn't mean they just stop shooting. So Beauchamp could have 5 threes and 25 points. And Garrison Matthews in Atlanta. He does nothing else apart from shoot. He annoys me because his name's only got one T in the surname. Sorry to any Matthews out there with a single T. But Gary Matthews is going to be out there and 80% of his shots are going to come from deep. He could hit 7 of them if he gets enough minutes. Rebounds. We look at Day'Ron Sharpe. Again, the Claxton thing is a concern there. Ken Lofton, Mark Williams, Udoka Azubuike, Jalen Duren, the passport legend, he's available in 50+% of leagues. Now, he did get squished last game because, of course, Marvin Bagley came back and you've got to try and limit production from your good players as much as possible. So that cut into Duren, but he's still a good option here. I think DeAndre Jordan's worth a look. The Nuggets, I don't know. They played their guys today. Gordon played 28 minutes. Jeff Green played 12 minutes and then got hurt. Jokic 27, Murray 28, Porter 20, KCP 29. I don't think they play tomorrow. It would be insane to play them on a back-to-back heading into the playoffs. Insane. So I think DeAndre Jordan's going to start. The only one of their guys who I think might play is Brucey Brown, who sat Saturday's game. I think he might come in and play on Sunday's game, but not huge minutes. Jalen Smith in Indiana. Yes, he did miss today's game, Jalen. Was it today's game? No, Friday's game. Jalen Smith missed it with knee soreness. He's officially questionable. I think the fact that Isaiah Jackson is questionable with an injury they're using for a couple of guys, Neesmith and Jackson, head contusions, all right, and Turner, of course, is still officially questionable. I think Jackson will sit and Smith will come back and start. Otherwise, if both Smith and Jackson are out and Turner, then you're going to have Daniel Tice playing 40 minutes. And I don't think that's going to go too well. But I do think that Jalen Smith will play, but I don't know that. And then Moses Brown, who is the backup in Brooklyn and can grab 20 boards. We've seen it before, yeah? I don't know how much he's going to play behind Day'Ron Sharpe, but he is there as an option for us. For assists, we go to Killian Hayes, 40-minute man, Killian Hayes. We go to Ish Smith in Denver. Iffy, because I don't know what they're doing. Theo Maledon, great. Chris Dunn, great. Nembhard, I think, will still get a good role in Indiana. Jordy Goodwin, great option. Corey Joseph is getting minutes. Yeah. And Lindell Wigington can be an assist guy. Man, imagine saying Lindell Wigington's name that many times on a fantasy podcast. For steals, well, there's great ones here. We go to Chris Dunn. We go to Lil John Conchar as well. Okay. We go to Killian Hayes, Jordan Goodwin. Orlando, I don't know what our Magic are going to do. On Friday, they sat Wendell Carter, they sat Banchero, they sat Gary Harris, they sat Mo Wagner. All we know at this point is that Mo Wagner is out. For some reason, Jay Scrubb is listed as out, being ineligible to play. I don't know what that means. Why is he ineligible to play? I have no idea. But that's what they're listing him out for. They're also officially listing Wagner, Fultz, Wendell, Banchero, and Gary Harris as questionable. I don't think they play. They might. I don't think they do. We'll see. So that means like Suggs might, Cole Anthony might. It's iffy. They could, they might not. I don't know. But those other guys that are officially listed questionable, I am very, very doubtful of it. The Warriors are still needing to win, so Dante DiVincenzo has picked it back up. DiVincenzo's minutes have been pretty weird. They were like, all right, 19, 24, 19, 21, 23, 20. All right, cool, he's droppable. 32, 32, 29. What do you reckon, Super Hot Fire? Where's the sound?
Psych! That's the wrong number!
So, yeah, he looks like he's back in business. They need to win. Steph is listed probable for this one. Kuminga's listed probable as well. Wiggins is out, we know that. But these guys will play because they do need the victory. How much they play, I don't know. Vince Williams is a name that we're going to talk about because he's in Memphis. And everyone's out. They've ruled like 10 guys out. So Vince Williams is probably going to play. And then Theo Maledon is there for us as well, although I added an extra E for some reason. That's just a bonus for you guys, for you loyal listeners. Blocks. I don't know whether Drew Eubanks is going to play. He'd played all their other games, and he sat out on Saturday. I think he plays Sunday, because the Warriors, again, are going to be trying to win. So I think they'll be okay playing him, but there is risk. There is risk in Jay Huff. Again, they have ruled him out because he's been transferred to the G League, which, of course, doesn't exist at the moment. So I think Huff will play. Otherwise, it's going to be Isaiah Todd who you can throw into that role. Day'Ron Sharpe, Mark Williams, the Dart, Goga Badadze.
Problem with my Gogo-mobile. Gogo-mobile? No, not the Dart. Not the Dart.
You got Bol there as well, Bol, who maybe is useful. It's going to depend on if they sit everyone out, because last game, Bol played 30 minutes on Thursday. All right, let's go. Then 18 against the Nets. Yeah, that stinks. Remember, he has been out of the rotation. But I think they'll sit everyone. I think Wagner, Fultz, Carter, Banchero, Harris, and Mo Wagner will be out, meaning Bol gets a large enough role for us to use. Big Dick Nick, it is theoretically his time to be out based on their weird schedule. So maybe not with him. It's a risky one. And then in Toronto, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, and Fred VanVleet are out. I think that means that Koloko is going to start. Koloko may start, because I think they'll limit Pirtle as well. But Koloko should get 20 minutes regardless. So I think that Barnes is available, Pirtle's available, Trent's available, Achua's available. I think Barnes, Pirtle, and Trent will keep their minutes down. I think Achua will get a boost in his production, and then you're going to get some Flynns and Harpers and Bantons and Wiskamps. I'm not sure if Thad Young will play. He might. But I think we'll get some weird rotations there with the guys that are playing. Barnes and Pirtle in particular will probably play like 20 minutes is my guess for Toronto. For field goal percentage, Duran, Azubuike, Mark Williams, DeAndre Jordan, Day'Ron Sharpe, KJ Martin. I think Houston's just going to do what they do. I don't think there's any change to their rotation. Xavier T. Illman. I don't know that he plays. They haven't listed him on the injury report, Tillman. He had a game 2 games ago where he sat. But look, they need him. The playoffs, they need him. Right? And there is so many guys out. And if he doesn't play, at the moment, they've only got 7 guys available and active for this squad. There's only 7 players who are available to play. So could they sit Tillman and just run a 6-man rotation with Lofton and Roddy playing center full-time? It's possible. I would love for them to be able to protect Tillman a little bit here because they need him. So I'm not sure about him. And then Eubanks as well, I don't know. For the Nets, Edmund Sumner's a good free throw shooter. Whether he plays or not, I don't know. Cam Thomas, elite. AJ Griffin's going to get good run. Norman Powell's going to play. Garrison Matthews, Theo Maledon. The Duck, Luke Kennard, again, one of those 7 guys who's available, so he's probably going to have to play, but they shouldn't push him too much. And then with the Bulls, Kobe White. Now, DeRozan is going to play. Vooch looks like he's going to play. They have listed Levine as questionable. I would suggest that the fact that they've taken DeRozan and Beverly off the injury report and not Levine makes me think Zach doesn't play. There's no need for him to play. He's had a sore knee all season. Yes, they want to get some minutes into these guys for keep rhythm, which I think is a little bit of bullshit. I don't think Zach is going to play. So their rotation, I think they'll just have Levine out and then limit the minutes of DeRozan and Beverly and Vooch and Caruso, pushing up more Pat Williams, Kobe White, Dosunmu, Dalen Terry. Maybe you get some Red Rooster Terry Taylor in there as well. So that's our streaming. We talked about it already. I'll throw it back up again. Who's trying? Clippers, Warriors, Lakers against opponents who aren't caring. And then Pelicans, Wolves versus each other. It is a wild time. There are so many guys out. Should I do a run through of who actually is out? All right, let's talk about who's officially out. Halliburton, Brunson, Randall, Hayward, Oubre, Rozier, Washington, Garland, LeVert, Don Mitchell, Okoro, Grayson Allen, Giannis, Connaughton, Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton, Anunoby, Siakam, Van Vliet, Kevin Porter is out for Houston, Denny Avdia, Beal, Gafford, Kuzma, Monte Morris, Porzingis, Dylan Wright, Seth Curry, Finney Smith, Cam Johnson, Royce O'Neal, Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey, DeAnthony Melton, PJ Tucker. Hey, Shake Milton's a great stream across many categories, by the way. Bogdanovich, Clint Capella, John Collins, DeJounte Murray, Trey Young, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, Isaiah Livers. What else? The Jay Scrub one I don't really believe. Jordan Clarkson, Rudy Gay, Horton Tucker, Markkanen, Colin Sexton, Doncic, Josh Green, Hardaway, Kyrie Irving, Maxi Kleber, Zach Collins, Jeremy Sohan, Devin Vassell. I don't think Keldon plays either in San Antonio. Dort, Giddey, Shea, Pig Williams, Bronco Williams, Pokuševski, Aldama, Bain, Brooks, Jaren, Tyus, Jar. I don't think the Nuggets play. Gordon Green, Jokic, Murray, Porter, KCP. The Kings, Davion Mitchell and Malik Monk, they're questionable. I don't think they play, but Fox, Sabonis are likely to play. Limited minutes. Ayton's out. Biombo's out. Booker's out. Durant's out. Paul's out. Payne's out. TJ Warren's out. Landale's an option there. Wiggins is out. Jeremy Grant's out. Keon Johnson, Nasir Little, Yusuf Nurkic, Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, Matisse Thybulle. And I don't think Cam Reddish plays. You got Naz Reid out. You got Zion out. And you got Jose Alvarado out. And in saying that, I am out. Guys, thank you so much for listening all season. Follow this podcast, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and on the Odyssey app. And on YouTube, thumb up, subscribe. Don't unsubscribe. You know how many good shows we're going to have? We're going to be loose as shit. We're going to be doing so many fun things and informative things, and it's going to make you a better NBA fan, a better fantasy player, and just have some fun. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.
What the hell?